Hello, welcome back. Oh. Amazing how much I type into the console. Wow, really? This much since my last stream? Oh, there we go. Got chat. Which does not seem to be on here. That goes back down there. Oh no, we got this chat working. Oop. Refresh. Nope. Nope. I'll get there eventually. Hey, there we go. Okay, so having a bit of motivational problems with concentration right now. I don't know why, but thoughts are not thoughting. Sort of started happening like 3 days ago, and I feel like I'm on the verge of a headache, like a real bad one. Like it's just there creeping up on me, which I'm really hoping isn't the same one that I had last time. Well, if I to join, feel free to ask questions if you want to know what's going on. Doop-a-doop-a-doop, where are you? Nope, nope. Down. So yeah, I did a whole heap of messing around, trying to figure out what the heck's going on. I had some problems, fixed some problems, had the whole thing die, fixed the whole thing again. And now, as I said, I have trouble concentrating. So, maybe if I rant to myself, it might help. So I may as well stream if I'm going to be ranting to myself, because that's what a stream is. Where the heck am I? So, I haven't done a whole lot of fancy stuff now. That's shouldn't take time to refresh. Why are you doing things? This should just happen instantly. Do I have a problem? Probably. Maybe things have just been looped in the background, I don't know. Oh, it's going through a full run. Whoops. Yeah, that'll probably be why. Anyway. So I have it now contacting... That's probably noisy, isn't it? Right next to my microphone. Can I just like move this thing further away? Wipe the phone off the table. Whoops, that was probably loud. Just kind of move the microphone for a second. And tilt it that way a bit so it's not directly facing the microphone. Maybe that'll help a bit, I don't know. Anyway, so what do I got? I have it now contacting a server, getting time between ranges, which I get in week-long intervals, so it will keep doing that until it's got all the information. Why is it giving me... Oh, because that's the first and T. I don't know why F and T. I don't remember what that stands for. One of them is the beginning time, so August the 1st, 2020 is the time it's starting to get the data from. And at August the 8th, 7 days later, is the end of the time. So it's just got everything within that range. I don't remember what half these logs are anymore. That's how many samples of data I got. That's how many things were just added to it. Why does it give this and then that? I'm not quite sure. Oh, because it's getting 2 weeks of data. So that was the first week's worth of data. This is, oh, yeah, this is the second week's worth of data. So from the 8th to the 15th. I'm not entirely sure if this is doubling up on one bit of data. It could be. I'm not sure. But one sample out of a couple of thousand I don't think is going to be a problem. I'm hoping not. If that's a problem, then it's going to be a pretty big problem. No, I have a thing to fix that. If there is 2 samples with the same value, then it just deletes it because it doesn't matter. And if they're on the same date, then it deletes it because they don't matter. And if the date of the previous one is higher than the current one, then it deletes it because it's wrong. Anyway, so that does that, grabs 2 weeks worth of data, and then we start optimizing. So this is going to optimize 2 weeks of stuff, which takes like 20 minutes or whatever, who knows. I was just messing around with different currencies, because if I'm going to hook this up now, then I need some values, and I got 20 bucks in Bitcoin that I have to play with. And I'd rather not just put the whole 20 bucks on at once, but there seems to be some drastic differences between the amount of money that I put in, which is a minor problem. Although, no matter what, it's always a positive value unless I go down to $1, then it starts to be not so good. I have not really any clue about that, if that's going to be a problem or not. The problem is because it's transferring all money from one thing to another. I think I got to add an extra thing so that... Well, then it doesn't really matter. I was thinking I got to add it... Let me just skip this song. I heard it too many times. You know what, let's skip this whole section of songs. I know there's a good section of songs around here somewhere, but I can never find it. Yeah, record 1. Mixtape 1. Is it around here? These icons look familiar. Oh, it's this dude. No. Oh, I just clicked on the button. Ah! Try to scroll down and it's like, oh, you want to scroll down, huh? Well, mate, why don't I just change the shape of the browser so now you're not clicking on what you just scrolled down to? Maybe, no, I don't really know those ones too well. This one? What's this one? Let's go for that. I know this one's okay, at least. Let it play from there. Okay. Yeah, that's too early right now. Next one. Well, that's... a constant struggle of what song to hear. Once I stop caring, it's all good. What about this one? Oh, it's the hurdy-gurdy. I want less of a meme song. That one's one I've heard a lot. It's the problem. I know there's like 10 songs here that are really good and they're pretty close together. I just have no clue where they are whenever I look. Let's just stick with that one. Go away, songs. Okay. I'm gonna assume that person that joined is probably a bot then. You joined too quickly. I don't believe that a person is watching me that much. Who's you? Are you a bot? That's not that bad so far. Never mind. Wait. I mean, you say you're making a bot, but not a bot that does this. Are you a bot? You haven't streamed recently, that's a bit of a warning. You have a low amount of followers, so... I don't know. Maybe you are, maybe you aren't. As long as you don't start joining and leaving constantly. Okay, so yeah, I tried it with 10 bucks. 10 bucks gives me better than $1,000, which is weird. $1,000 will have a 1 point something or other increase over 2 weeks of data. 10 bucks will have a 3 point something increase over a certain amount of data. And $1 will give me a -1-ish. So that's not good, which is what's currently running. Oh, it's finished. Oh, okay, it's a -0.9. So, yeah. I can only assume what's going on here is certain things have happened and it went and ran out of money on itself. Because if it's buying and selling 93%, as it currently says, so it will trade no more than 93% of the total currency at any interval. Not saying that is what it's going to do, that's just what it says it's going to do. Left. Didn't go dunk. Whatever. Yeah, I feel like that's well too high. I should never be trading that much. But if there is a reason to trade it, then I should. But then what is that reason? If it's a whole lot of smaller stuff, then that reason is higher. And then suddenly it'll have a big whack, and then it's, oh, we've got no money now. I don't know. It works. The numbers don't lie, unless they are lying, but that seems to be correct. So I don't really sure what I can do. No, it doesn't matter. That's not what I'm doing at the moment. I'm not optimizing anymore. We'll just run up with it. We're just gonna do what we need to do to be able to hook it up to the system. So, problems. There was a problem. When I ran through the simulation data, then I checked this thing. This thing is for something completely different, but this thing isn't running. Why is this not running? Because I is not a thing. I would only be a thing if it didn't have values. So when does this happen? So the idea of what was supposed to happen here is if this takes longer than 5 minutes to optimize the data, then this thing kicks off to get the next 5 minutes worth of data to optimize. Oh, I mean 7 days worth of data to optimize. Until eventually this comes back with nothing, in which case we have nothing. But this didn't run. I feel like this is a very important thing and should most definitely run, but it didn't. I never get it done here. I just get it done there. So once this was all optimized, this should have ran, but it did not. What does this mean? Is it because it isn't, or is it because it's not? Did I change something that broke this, or is it just because of my weird ensemble of returns? No, because if it's in training mode, okay, so I gotta figure out what's going on here. It may not be a problem because this was working, but then I changed a whole lot of stuff to test to see if the live data worked, and I'm not quite sure what I changed around there. All I know is I do not want this audio to play, otherwise it plays 100 times a second. So, what have we got here? Doopy doopy doop, we get the data, we send through the data, the flow happens, we changed all of this, so now what's going on? I have flow 2 now instead of flow, so that gets a week's worth of data from our start time to our start time plus 1 week, plus all of the thing, and then my initialized data will cut that into segments. When the initialized data is done, it will run flow. So the initialized data will get a week's worth of time, ask the server about that when it receives a request, as long as there wasn't an error. Then we have a week's worth of data we want to join into our coin data, and then we want to request another week's worth of data, unless we've got all the data, in which case we've got all the data. Once we got all the data, we can then just say training data goes to flow with a state of 1, because this is test data. So then you go to this, I have a two-factor authentication-y sort of a thing for this, so I'll have a test. If test is a true, then we do not use real money. And also we'll have a global the global thing, and if the global thing is also true, then we don't use real money. But then I have the same sort of a problem of when it toggles one, it will also be toggling the other, but yeah, it's just extra security. As long as that one point where it toggles them both to be true doesn't break, we should be reasonably okay, maybe? Okay. So yeah, then we go to the data. So a data index is what I'm using instead of I. So data index, which goes up every time it requests an update of the data, is less than data index last. So if I have a limited amount of data which I want to run through, so I only want to run through 1,000 samples or something, that kicks out. Otherwise, just for the amount of data we have. If we don't have any data to run, then we don't have any data to run, which is potentially a problem. But that's one condition. Anyway, it's not a problem. And training mode. So if we're using training data, then we want to be doing this condition. If we are not using training data, then I is less than 1, so this loop just goes once. So this is basically like an if training or not training. Anyway. So then we do this, we have a hard break, so if it requests more than that times 2 worth of information, or this thing, whichever one it is, times 2, then we break, because this was causing an infinite loop, because it ran out of data, but then would just go forever if something was to happen in here, because this would never increment, which means it would never reach greater or equal than this, so it would never break out. Then I have this simple toggle here, so if I want this to ever stop running by force, I could just press Z on the keyboard and it'll stop this without stopping everything. I can still look at the data. Data next update. So yes, if I want to update the current data that it's looking at, so once I've got the buffered data, which is what this thing's doing, we're grabbing our buffered data, we have 2 weeks worth of that, this thing will be like, hey, what's the next bit of data? And then you go over to this thing, and this thing says, are we in training mode? Yes, we are in training mode. So, whoops. I'll go to this update then does this, so if data index and data index is... If data index last is a value and data index is greater than last, then return, because we've done all the samples we want to do, we don't want to do any more. Which also keeps the data next update state as a 1. The what? Yeah. Oh yeah. So that keeps that as a 1. I'm not sure why I also have that over here, but whatever, because this thing wouldn't be running unless that thing was toggled to a 1, because it gets toggled to a 1 right before running, so it's a bit of a redundant condition there. Okay. Yep. So then we got the time, which is coming from the data this thing. If not time, then there's something wrong, so we don't care. We just run update again, but splice out this thing, so now we go to the next index. Otherwise, if index and coin data index -1 date is greater than time, then this is out of order. The value I'm looking at is outdated. Return, or splice and go again. If index -1 open is equal to this one's open, then there was no change in data. There's no point running it through again, because I have seen it happen in the where I'm getting the data from. It just has everything being the same value and incrementing through time, which I'm not sure if it actually is doing that or not, or if it just doesn't have a date value. Because if it doesn't have a date value, it's just ignoring any other information about it, or this is zeroed or something. I'm not sure what's going on there. So if it happens to be the same as the previous one, then we just don't care. Which may or may not be a problem, because there could have literally just been no transactions in the last 5 minutes or so. So we just don't do that. But then that would be... So if that was with this... So if it's... I guess because... Nope, whatever. Things that were happening... Oh yes, it's because it was running the other one. Anyway.
Oh no, my phone broke twice today.
Twice? How does that even happen? 2 different problems or the same problem? So all this went good, then index was got, so we want to increment index. Why are we incrementing index here? That's wrong. You get incremented at the end, because now all of whatever this was is outdated. So no, that shouldn't be happening. We go through, we get the data of the one we are currently looking at. Oh god. It should have just offset all my values by 1. I think that should be fine. It's not frozen, okay. So last, blah blah blah, yeah, so last is where we're getting the data from, not open. Open is just what it's called when we're looking at the buffered data. So we just say that as last, v is value, time and value. So at this time, the values were this within the Bitcoin prices. And then we have received our information. So that is now a 3, and new data because of absolutely no reason at all anymore. I don't think I use this anymore. Maybe I do. Can't help but notice this is all still hard-coded as BTC, but sure. Why am I getting new data? I mean, really that should just be from this one, 0. Anyway, this should also be what I'm using for the graph, rather than having a second lot of information from the graph.
In the morning and fell into the bath in the evening, and now it doesn't work and is getting ripped.
Right, yeah, ripped. Okay. Okay. So what, you cracked the screen and then you dropped it into water? Or is the bath empty and you just dropped it again? Okay. Yeah, I've dropped my phone once, really. One proper drop. I was talking to somebody on the phone and I went to like adjust my grip and it slipped and fell. And it happened to land on a brick. on the ground that was uneven, so it had a corner poking directly up, and the screen fell flat on it, shattered it. And then it bounced, and then it hit the side, and then it hit the front, the side, and the back. They all got 3 different cracks on it. And then like 2 days after that, I dropped it again from like knee height onto another cement ground, and it just hit in the corner and just shattered the corner. So it's got a side, 2 corners, front and back. Right? Wait, does it have a side cracked? I mean, yeah. So it's got its front. The front hit right on the side of the front, so it hit in a way that made it bounce up, fling around, then hit a corner and then the back? Oh yeah, the back corner.
My phone is completely dead, but Rice has a habit of fixing phones.
Yeah, I don't know. Is it the rice, or is it that you just left it alone for a while that turned off? Wait, so did you drop it into water, or did you just drop it in general, and now you're just putting it into rice? What? Okay. Yeah, I thought the phone was supposed to be like transparent titanium type glass or something. I didn't realize, or transparent aluminium or whatever. I didn't realize it was literally just normal glass. Well, I mean, it didn't completely shatter. It took chunks off the corners, and it's got cracks running through the middle. But other than that, it's actually perfectly fine. Really, I can't really complain. The only annoyance was just, you know, it'd take ages to get a little tiny itsy-bitsy shards of glass out of it. Kept getting my hair and stuff whenever I was on a phone, or my hair would get hooked on the corner of the glass and stab me. Ugh. Very annoying. Oh wait, how much power do I have? I don't have much. Oh, 44. How'd that go? What? Last time I checked, I thought I had 20 something power. Let's plug it in. Okay, price is price, blah 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 blah, job done. So where the heck am I? No, is it here? So yeah, price is price, this is done, index goes up, so the next index knows what the next index is, that comes back here. We drop out of there, this is 3 when it's doing an instant mode, because instant mode is training mode now. Then we're using this data, so we need to get new data after this. The decider runs with the decider, blah blah blah. We get our values, we do stuff with optimizer if the optimizer needs to be run. That's all done here. So yeah, so if I is a value, then that means this went and what? How could I possibly be value?
It fell up the stairs 5 minutes before going to work, and it fell into the bath water just as I came back from work, and Rice absorbs moist, so can sometimes fix moist phones.
Moist. Yeah, I mean, if the bathtub was, I was assuming the bathtub was empty. Yeah, so if I is a thing, then that means this actually looped at least once. If it looped at least once, it did this, or it did that. So I should be a value. Test should always be a value. I don't ever have that not being a value. And is that what you're supposed to run? Data index is less than coin data length. So if it's looped but hasn't looped all the way through, how could it possibly not loop?
It was filled with water dropped to the bottom, worked for a while, and then died.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I think it might be completely dead. Might have flooded it. Yeah, I got a friend who's got a phone that's water resistant, and he's like, oh no, it's waterproof, and then he just washes it under the tap, and obviously it went a little bit buggy. Screen's not really quite working right last I heard. Yeah, and the microphone doesn't really work all the time, and so does the speaker. The speaker sometimes just works real badly, and I can't hear him. So yeah, but I told her, like, you know, even if it is, you shouldn't be doing that anyway. It's electronics. You don't put electronics near water. Even if it's, like, okay-ish to do it. It's like, no, it's fine. Oh, yeah. But he was doing it, like, multiple times a day, every day. That's like, why? Oh, well. Either having charging problems or something as well, who knows.
Mono, him starting to learn how to use UTLU.
What's that? Oh, my head. It's like thoughts aren't happening correctly. I don't like it. I was going so good like a couple of weeks ago. It was amazing how easy it was to think. It was so great. Like I could just clearly like think of things and have thoughts happen, just conceptualizing stuff. And I was like, oh my god, this is great. I don't have any headaches or anything. Like I have the power of mind. I don't even know. And that lasted for like a week, and then it started to come back again. I wonder if there's like something I'm missing, like, but then why did it come back? Maybe, oh, maybe it's just bad again because I'm nocturnal again. That's probably it. Anyway, so blah 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 blah. So this is I, but yeah, that would not be a thing, which means it would be true.
Localoid with memes and the feeling of it being 2004.
Huh? Oh. Okay. Yeah, so data index is less than that, so it has to be equal to or greater than this. Index should be plus by 1, so it should be equal to that length if this thing broke out. How does this exactly break out? I mean, it breaks out when this happens. So this should be a thing for it to break out. So this should be true, that should be true, and this should be true, and this should then run. Why is it not? Go again. Oh, I gotta wait for it to do the damn optimization jump. Let me just remove optimizing. You're not gonna refresh, are you? Force refresh. Not helping. I really don't know where that good music is. I know it's here somewhere. So the ability will be jump. Too much sausage. What about this one? Stop. You should not be running that. It's getting the live data constantly. Okay, so what's happening? Done there. So we've got all... Did he hear whatever here is?
Mono, people can make their own voice banks, so there's a lot of stupid ones. Examples: Shrek, bottle, dogs.
A bottle voice? Okay. So yeah, it's a done there, not a done here. So do a done here first. Why is it just doing a done there? I mean, I guess I could just log this directly and see what the world's going on. Problem is, this is a lot of information right here. What is all of this? I don't think I got to do a -1 of that. Should be correct. But you never know. While I'm looking around. That does not need to be there. Technically that stuff doesn't really need to be there either. What the hell is this? Let's just check and see if that worked. How many times it's got to get the information. Start, end time, the amount of data we have, and an info for an error, and if we got all the data. Yeah, I'm fine with that. Oh. Yeah, it doesn't stop anything until we get up to this part. Okay, so that's all the information of it. Wait, what is this? Whatever. So that's how many. What the heck? That's I.
Oh no, I'm very depressed now because I just lost €200 phone with some very important data on it.
I can probably guess what important data means when you say it. I would assume your memory card in it should still be fine. Just the rest of it's probably dead. If you use a SIM card or something, you could probably just pop it out. I mean, a whatever memory thing. But yeah, you should be able to recover the memory from it. Somehow. I wonder how they store memory in phones. I mean, they probably got some sort of integrated thing, but I'm just imagining, like, imagine if it was all modular. So it just literally had a little SD card in there somewhere that was your memory of your phone. You could literally just open it up, pop that out. That'd be cool. So that's fine, that's fine. This is not fine.
Mono,
what the heck?
Can't get memory back.
Okay, if you say so. Okay, so that is just completely not right in the slightest. Why? Is this tripping? Maybe I should do like a 5 or something? I don't see why that would be tripping. Nope. Whatever. The heck.
Mono, 7 years of gameplay in a B game. If I sold that to CANT, it would have been more expensive than the phone.
In a B game? Okay. What the heck, bruh? What?
Mono, shitty keyboard.
I don't understand. The only conditions... Like, I know it is in training mode, so it can only be this condition that's looping. And this condition will run until it reaches this length, unless I got an index last. Do I have an index last? No. I do not have an index last, so it can only be because of this. Unless it hits this break. So, what? Well, that's not flipping until after here, so it needs to break out of that loop before this can happen. Which it is happening, but, you know. What? I don't understand.
Mono, the Twitch on my laptop is in Dutch for some reason and it's terrible.
If that is less than this, or this, and it's in training mode, I believe this should say... I mean, I don't think that's just saying true. It should be this lot of data or that lot of data. So this will be returning whichever one is true, I believe. Let's give it a go. Yes. So that is not that. So yeah, this is just returning whichever one's true. And that is what that is. So this must be equal to or greater than that for the loop to break unless this is being hit. Is this happening? It is happening. The heck?
Mono, Gavoj kanalen YouTube win zoikan newer videos.
What? Okay, why is this being greater than that? So this should never happen with the training data because we just get it directly through here, which then goes directly through there. So it is a 0 by default. This sets it to a 1. We go to request update. Request update says it training mode. This is in training mode, so it says update. Update then says this is a no. This wouldn't be happening because data index is not.
Wet and Chapin technology.
I assume that's science and technology. It's copy pasting stuff from Twitch. Yeah, so the data index last is not a valid thing. We have a 0 there. If it's a 0, then there's going to be nothing for it to do. So if this is true, which is false, so this wouldn't happen. If coin index blah 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 blah. Is this actually happening for some reason? False return? The other one's false break, isn't it? Where the heck am I? What happened? False break, false return. Not seeing any false returns. Okay. So if there is no false returns, then we do have data. We do not, we're not doing the early breakout thing, so we don't have data. The time is invalid. I mean, if the time is invalid, it does return, but it loops back around to itself. This doesn't go to any other function, so it's just does this with multiple variations, basically, until it eventually works. In which case, we got what we want. Oh, wait a second. No, that's fine. Because it would be, when this whole thing returns, it goes back down there. When this thing would run, and then when it returns, it goes down to this return. Because we actually have got the information, nothing gets returned from this. So yeah, everything should be fine. Because the value should be updated, that should be great. So the only bad one is this one. Every other one comes back here again. Okay. So that should be all fine, and nothing is wrong. Data index goes up. We return back here again. So once this eventually passes through, this gets changed from a 1 to a 3. Then we go down here, this is a 3, because that's a 3, we set it to a 0, and then we do our thing. If that increased, then this increased. If this increased, it will forever increase until eventually this gets triggered, this gets triggered. Once we've got our last bit of data, because this is an equal to length, not an index, this is index, so length would mean that it's a +1. Which means the next index that it would get would be out of the range, which is it's the length, so that should be fine. Okay. And if this one's running, then this one's running. If this one's running, then this one's running. This does run by default, so this must run by default. There are no breakouts. There are no returns. So how could this possibly be happening? I don't get it. Okay, well, how about we ignore that and just have this? Is there... Do we I don't understand. Force break. So I went through that many indexes out of this many. Well, if that is that, and this is this, then that means this is greater or equal to that. So, what? How does this happen? Oh, because that's I, not data index. What am I logging? I'm logging I. Okay. And data index was this. So why did this stop incrementing? How do I figure this out without having a gajillion logs? What is this? So that's always a 3 whenever a gain happens. Then it was a 1. So something broke. And the request update did not get an update. How could that be possible? Training mode does not change. It cannot change. Not until after that's broken out of that loop, which we're not up to yet. It's the only place I have that being changed. And it can't change that while still inside the loop. So it has to be running this. Why am I putting through data index? It doesn't give a damn. Does it? I mean, no, but yes, apparently. I mean, if it's going to be doing this, then no. I don't know if I can just increment like that with the other one, or if it will change it to a local state. So index is just data index. Oh, the words disappear? Oh, good. You do whatever you want. Does that magically fix something? Oh, I did. We do get A1, but we're an equal number, and... No, that's a different thing. Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Sure, why not? Let's move it on. I mean, that's always been there, and it was working before, but it wasn't not working because of that, because I didn't add that until much later on, so let's just not question things. We don't have to care about this anymore. What other logs did I just put around? Care about that.
Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of...
Don't care about this. Okay, so that will then get the next lot of data, which I assume it will do if I unpause and repause. There it goes. So that just got the next lot of data, trained with it all, and now it's looking for the next lot of data. So this just goes the week intervals.
Mono. I thought let's put my mind to something else and read some borderline hentai, and then they drop the phone in the bath like Darafuki. Why is the world so harsh?
I know, right? Okay, so now that's up to date with the current data, and now it's got to wait 5-minute intervals before getting new data. I feel like a sound should have played. Do I still have that muted? Oh yes, because it's spammed. So done there should be what this is saying constantly. It's not. It said it once. I think when it gets the next 5 minutes of data, it might say done there again. Let's check it out.
Mono. It was a nice scene, don't get me wrong, but why of all things, but...
Yeah. Did you immediately try to hit the undo button? I remember I literally did that once. I dropped a bowl or something like that, and then my head twitched to press the undo button. And then I'm like, what, huh? Wait, this is reality? Whose decision was to do that? That sucks. Why does life not have an undo button? Why must I inhabit a mortal vessel that requires nutrients to survive? Why can't I just be energy? You know? What do they call that? Existential crisis sort of stuff. There is no God. I dropped my phone in the bathtub. What was it on? Oh yeah, I got rid of logs, I just want to refresh. So it goes through, gets a week of data, plonk, gets the next week of data, and the next week of data, and the next week of data. There we go. Well, that was a bit of an exaggerated week then. And now it should be looking for the live stuff. Oh, that's quick. Okay, well we have a straight up line. I'm not quite sure what that's all about. But it's a good marker to where the start of this thing was. So that was that 5 minutes it just got. What is the straight up line? Are we missing information? Well, something says it's infinite, obviously. Huh. Why them? They don't exist? Why don't they exist? Should they be added? Why weren't they added? It ran through the same code as everything else, so I don't see why that would be happening. Does that mean my game is wrong? I don't know. Either way, I just wanted to know that done there didn't run again. And apparently didn't. It did say done... what the heck now? What? Huh? If it said done, then it said done. Okay. And then this went, and it just said the gain. Gain is logged here. So this didn't go, and that didn't go, which means this can go. And we don't really care about these anymore. Okay. So now it will make a sound when it's done simulation data. And this will start looping to get the next lot of actual data. As long as that is, all that is that. Wait, what? Why does this set it to 0? If that's being set to 0, then this shouldn't be run. So, what? It turns training off. And that to that. Data index is less than coin length. Data index is less than coin length? How? And that is equal to 2. So if that's equal to 2, that means it's requested new data. So this is the one that would have been triggered. But how? Okay. So it would have initialized new data, then it would have come through again, and it didn't do this because it was up to date. So that way, I assume this would have then gone because 2? No. Because it returns a 1 if it doesn't have the data within the predefined data. So it should have just been the same things as this. So this is not that, which means it can't be this. So the only option is that happened to run. But how did that run? Maybe that's always a 2? No, 2 means it's requested but hasn't received. Which could only happen if not training mode. But not training mode only happens here. I am very confused. This doesn't know about... But how does... Oh, okay. So it requested, but it didn't receive any information. Because it didn't receive any information, I is 0, because there was nothing to loop through. I was 0, and training data was true. Therefore, training data was true. It's a bit pointless, isn't it? Therefore, training data was true, and this gets toggled to a 0, that gets toggled to a 0, and... Well, this would still be the same, right? This would be greater than that, or equal to that, and this was set to a 0. So how did this loop? Let's just not question it because it works. Well, other than that error on the end there, but whatever. Now it should go bloop when that's done, so let's just tab that. And what am I doing? Why is the graph wrong? The graph is wrong because something's going wrong with the decider when it plots the graph information, which is done here. Because mode? Okay. Mode is whether or not it's simulating. Is mode being toggled and it thinks it's doing a simulation, so it's not adding this? When it's not actually doing a simulation? Decider is where? Mode is false. So no. Mode will not be doing its thing, it should be doing this. If it's doing this, then we should have the graph information, right? Unless this isn't where I put the graph information in. I thought that was the point of this. Oh, it did go blue. Oh, because I didn't interact. Yeah. Like, it's weird. It's got it's got the X, but it doesn't have the Y. There was no values assigned. So what the heck's going on there? Where do I store this? If I store it here, then I store it there. If I store it there, then it's stored in here, and in here is over there, and over there is this. Wait, this or that? Values, yes. Nada. Okay, these are very bad numbers. They should definitely not be a nada. How the heck are you becoming nadas? Are you referencing something that's not in the information with the thing? Well, obviously. It's referencing something that doesn't exist. Where would it go? Decider. I mean, you're not doing math. It would be this stuff. Is this doing something that this is not? Probably. So we should have new data. B is just this thing in that case. Next update is 3. BTC price is BTC price. Date last time is date last time. Data last time was the last time. And we should have last. Everything is called last because that thing has last. Which it should say a last in here. Which we should be able to see over here. There is a point, and it does seem to be following. Okay. Problems, problems? What's the next problem? I mean, you are doing what that thing is doing, if not doing more. But I haven't seen any more. I don't understand. I do not understand. Why would it... so, does it have a normalize? It doesn't have an average. Where's average being placed? What? Normalize normal. That was one of them. Normalize normal is a nada. Why is normalize normal a nada? Because normalize length used is a value. Normalize is not a value. So it's just breaking, which means there's nothing to be done. So how does that usually get into things? I would assume here. Why is this pushing? Because I'm not looking at the right thing. So what am I looking at? Is this not data currency dot whatever? No, it is not. It is values. Values equals average. Okay. So that's where the average is getting pushed in. And that is from this average, which is last minus normal. Do we have a problem with last? I mean, it has got a last, wherever that went. Which is the value 1 last, values 1 last. You are correct. Time is time, which is 0. You have a point. Is that a problem? That might be a problem, but I doubt it. Let's put a round on that just in case. Wibbly wobbly? No. Wibbly wobbly might cause problems if the number's too big. I don't know how big a too big number is. Well, you never know, that might fix it. interact. So, next thing is... what? I don't really know. What am I doing? Blah 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 blah. I'm dead. My head feels like it's gonna explode again. Ugh, mind. I keep thinking, like, do I need to go to a hospital or something? Get checked out? Because this could be like some sort of a precursor to some terrible thing. Or it's just simply because I'm staying up all night. But that's never normally happened before. Usually this was my best time for stuff. But then again, it wasn't a constant subtle headache for weeks at a time, so... I don't know. I mean, hey, I live in Australia, so if I want to get checked out, I can. It doesn't really cost anything. It should be on the safer side. I don't know. I guess I'll see if it continues to happen when I'm next on my day side. If I'm on my day side and it happens without my sleeping time being too erratic, I should probably get it checked out. Okay, what am I doing? I've got to see an eye doctor too. Why must I be trapped in this flesh prison? I must get better at coding so I can code myself a new body, you know? Digitize myself, that's how you go. Ain't a problem if you got no problems. Unless there's a bug in the code, in which case you got lots of problems. But anyway. Error correction. We need to get into AI stuff again, damn it. But money! I got it. Money. I need money. Money is a nice thing to have. Makes everything a lot easier. Let's go. One thing I'd never done before was what I was doing when I was gambling with that friend who was just giving me money. Just getting hundreds of dollars from just pushing buttons. Like, I'd never just bought something without really caring too much. I always like spend so much time and effort researching, figuring out if that's exactly what I want, is that the best price, what's the min-max sort of a thing, why is this one more expensive, why is this one cheaper, searching on reviews, all that sort of junk. But then with that money I'm just like, hey, here's a thing, buy. Very interesting living like that. A consumer way. Anyway, what am I doing? That's the problem with this thing. The more money I have, the more money it makes. So I never want to take it out, so I'm just stuck in the same boat regardless. No. I can never really see this doubling my money, that's the problem. None of my simulations, well, with current simulations, have shown the money being doubled. It's like, I could use this, and I do gain a profit. But how long does it take to double my money? That's the question. And the current data is not really that helpful, because it's just, I don't know. That's the problem with this thing. Bitcoin is just step one. This is just the practice. This is just the test. Oh, there was a thing on that, wasn't there? Okay, let's have a look at that. Let's look around on this thing, because I thought it had a test thing, but the test thing's only for the futures market. I saw one of these things down the bottom. which I am now not seeing. It's all futures stuff though, isn't it? Yeah. So this is the futures market. Which seems crazy, like that's where the real money's at. I could have sworn I had a thing for stocks and stuff. Oh, push the button. Yeah, but I don't seem to see this right now. Maybe I went somewhere else for it? There was the decentralized thing as well. I think that might be what this is? Yeah, this is the decentralized market. Apparently this is where massive money is made as well. That guy I knew is making like $80,000 a day. Not that an hour. More like every now and again, over the course of an hour, he'll just make a fortune with that. I don't know, I thought I saw something that was saying about usual normal stock stuff, which would be great if I could use it all through the same site. I don't know what this margin thing's all about yet. Not a clue. Ooh, leaderboard. Yeah. What is this? Oh. My head's hurting. I didn't do the bloop thing. The heck? There it goes. Okay, so that didn't fix the problem. I don't know what the problem is. My headache's starting to get a bit worse. I think I'm just gonna stop trying to force it and just go. Which is annoying because I already tried to do that and I watched a heap of anime and I thought I might be getting better, but no. Forcing the thoughts is not helping.